right. You know what time it is. Time for KP Video News. Here we go. It's Walter Winchell here. Let's see. Disabled man starved to death after DWP stopped his benefits. MPs call for inquiry in the case of Earl Graham, 57, who weighed 28 kilos when he was found dead. MPs and campaigners have called for the independent inquiry after it emerged a disabled man with a long history of mental illness starved to death just months after welfare officials stopped his out-of-work housing benefits. Earl Graham, a 57-year-old grandfather, and in his younger days was a keen amateur football player, weighed just 28 kilos when his emaciated body was discovered by bailiffs who had broken down his front door to evict him for non-payment of rent. A coroner's report into the tragedy found that Graham, who suffered from severe social anxiety, had cut himself off from family and friends, had died of starvation. When he was found, he had no gas or electricity supplied. There was no food on the property except for 2 tins of fish that were 4 years out of date. Graham's family this week blamed the Department for Work and Pensions for his death in June 2018, saying it would not have cut off the financial lifeline of a man it knew would be highly vulnerable. He said he would still be alive. He'd be ill, but he'd be alive, said his daughter-in-law, Allison Turner. The findings of an inquest into Graham's death in June of 2019 were brought to light by Turner via independent website Disability News Service. The inquest found that DWP and NHS staff had missed opportunities to save Graham. The safety net that should surround vulnerable people like Earl in our society had holes within it, said the coroner. Campaigners said the tragedy, the latest in a series of cases where vulnerable claimants have died after having their benefits cut off, showed serious shortcomings in DWP's treatment of highly vulnerable claimants. They claimed for an overhaul of its safeguarding systems and a halt to benefit sanctions against disabled claimants. Labor MP Debbie Abrams, who raised the case on Monday, said, particularly worrying are the deaths of vulnerable claimants like Earl following the DWP stopping their payments. This is in spite of department procedures which are meant to protect vulnerable people. This has got to be looked at as a matter of urgency. The DWP said it took Graham's death seriously and had referred the case to a newly created serious case panel process to learn lessons. The panel's terms of reference had not been formalized, but its members would be DWP civil servants. The DWP spokesman said, "This is a tragic, complex case, and our sympathies are with the Graham family." So that's, too much, too little, too late. That's not going to bring the man back. You would have just been checking up on him and gave him his benefits, he would still be here. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Bond denied for officer and handcuffed man's fatal shooting. College Park, Maryland. A judge denied bond Wednesday for a Maryland police officer who has been charged with murder after being accused of fatally shooting a handcuffed man in his patrol car. Judge Robert Heffron Jr. said he found convincing evidence that Prince George's County Police Corporal Michael Owen Jr. posed a danger to the community. Owen's defense attorney had asked for him to be freed without bond. Investigators didn't find any evidence of a fight between Owen and William Howard Green before Green was fatally shot in the front passenger seat of the police car, police said in a report on a murder charge against the officer. That finding contradicted statements on the night of the shooting by a department spokesman who told reporters that 2 independent witnesses said they saw or heard a struggle of some sort coming from the patrol car before he heard loud bangs. Owen fired 7 shots at Green and struck him multiple times, said the report on Monday's shooting. The prosecutor, Renee George, said Green had complied with officers' commands when he was taken out of the car and handcuffed and posed absolutely no threat. Supporters of Green clapped after the judge denied bail for Owen, whose next court date is set for February 28th. Owen had handcuffed Green, 43, of Washington, D.C., behind his back and placed him in the cruiser after responding to a traffic accident and finding him sleeping in his vehicle, apparently under the influence of unknown substance, said the report released Wednesday. About 5 to 10 minutes after Owen placed Green in his cruiser, a witness heard gunshots and saw the wounded man still seated in the front passenger seat with his hands cuffed behind his back. Investigators did not find any weapon in Green's possession or was in his vehicle. Witnesses told officers Green had struck their vehicle, police said in a news release. Owen, a 10-year veteran of the force, was arrested Tuesday on charges of second-degree murder, voluntary and involuntary manslaughter, first-degree assault, and the use of a firearm in the commission of a crime of violence. Prince George's County Police Chief Stowinski said during a news conference Tuesday that he asked his special investigators response team to file the charges. Stowinski called the announcement the most difficult of his tenure as police chief. I'm unable to come to our community this evening and provide you with reasonable explanation for the events that occurred last night. The chief told reporters, I concluded that what happened last night is a crime. During an earlier news conference, police department spokeswoman Christina Cotterman had said 2 witnesses told the police they had either saw a struggle. Cotterman also said officers smelled PCP and believed the man was under the influence of that drug. However, Stowinski later said PCP did not appear to have been involved and that no account of a struggle in the cruiser could be corroborated. John Mathis, the son of Green's fiancee, told the Washington Post that the family has cell phone videos witnesses took of the deadly encounter. Mathis said one of the videos shows officers trying to wake Green after his car crashed on the way home from a restaurant. Green, the father of 2 adult children, was a Megabus luggage loader who was slated to be promoted to dispatcher Tuesday, according to Mathis. We have a lot of questions. Defense attorney Jonathan Scruggs said Owens is an ordained minister who is active in the church. He argued his client doesn't pose a danger to the community. This is not somebody who's off the street who's alleged to have committed a crime. Owens wasn't in the courtroom but appeared on video monitor in jail. The shooting wasn't caught on body camera video because the officer didn't have one. How convenient. In the news release, police said a department directive permits officers to transport arrested suspects in the front passenger seat of patrol cars that don't have partitions. Owen's cruiser did not have a partition. Owen has been involved in at least 2 other shootings during his time on the force. In 2011, he fatally shot a man who pointed a gun at him after Owen left an event at police headquarters. The department said Owen was placed on administrative leave after that incident, but there was no indication whether the additional action was taken. In 2009, Owen was off duty when someone tried to rob him outside his home. The Post reported police officials said the would-be robber fired, but Owens was not hit and returned fire. The assailant fled, according to police. Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy said in her statement Tuesday that her office will conduct a thorough and independent investigation. We will seek the truth and will vigorously pursue justice in a way that is fair and responsible. So that's that story, and that was like a bond denied for officer in a handcuffed man's fatal shooting in College Park, Maryland. So here we go. Fresh story. KP's Video News. Time for the press.